Good Sunday evening, everyone out there watching on Facebook and YouTube. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. Welcome to another edition of the Houston Roundball Review presents Folks Talking Sports. Going to do things a little bit different. Had to fit her into the schedule because he has practice times kind of every other day in the week, which conflicts with some of the shows. But when you have your own show, you can do things like this. I got capabilities, so got a special guest joining me after this mellow vibe. Be right back. 20 seconds. And without further ado, I'm going to bring in the head coach of Houston Christian University, HCU women's basketball, Coach Donna Finnie. How are you, Coach?
I'm well. How are you, Kris?
Did you like that music there? Did you get all mellowed out and smooth?
I didn't hear it actually, so I'm
Oh,
not
that's a
sure.
bummer. Well, okay. For you, I'm sorry, maybe you didn't hear because you were not in studio officially.
Yeah.
But one more time, Miss Wanda Polk, good evening to you, Miss Polk. In honor of Coach Finney, we're going to try again to see if she can hear this mellow vibe music that I like. 20 seconds. No worries. Anything that time?
I did not hear again, but it's okay.
Okay, well, no worries. I'll just have to send it to you. No worries. Okay, this is going to be kind of brief. I have a question for you.
Sure.
Did you watch the WNBA Finals today?
I did. I did.
All
I
of it?
can't.
The whole
No,
game?
no, no, not all of it. I I missed the last like 3 minutes. So
Oh, well, the game was over by then. So, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great series. Obviously, um, I think what impressed me was first half was obviously some of the role players getting more involved, and
Hmm.
um, I thought Jackie Young looked so good, obviously in that game, and but there's just so much talent on both teams, and for me, I want our players to be watching that. I want younger, female basketball players to be watching that because I would say that for me this year more than any year before, I think the league's had more visibility in a positive way. And we have to keep building on that. So the more that we as female coaches and players are watching the league and supporting the league, the more it's going to grow. And obviously with the announcement of a new franchise over in the Bay Area, it just shows, the growth that the women's games had this year.
Yes, it's a good thing, but you know me. You know me for a while.
I know what you're going to say.
Yes, and Miss Wanda knows as well. Anyone watching on
Hmm.
YouTube and Facebook, I think the ship has sailed and sunk
Yeah.
regarding the WNBA returning to the city of Houston. But what are your thoughts on how long have we been in Houston? For those who don't know,
13 years.
13 years. Oh
Hmm.
wow! So you missed the Comets because they were gone in
I
2008,
did,
right?
but I
Yep.
was lucky. And I was lucky enough when I was coaching with our national team. I brought our team over here, and we attended a couple of Comets games with the team. So I was lucky enough to actually see them play in the Toyota Center, um, and
Okay.
obviously, very lucky that I have their former coach as our play-by-play announcer for our home games too. So we
And
get to
how
talk a lot about that.
how is Van Chancellor?
I haven't talked to him in a few weeks, but I know he's excited about the season starting again. And one thing that I really love about Van, his obvious passion for the women's game. I see him, he's going out to different high schools. He's always keen to encourage the younger generation that are coming through. And it's funny because sometimes um, those kids maybe don't know who he is, which
Hmm.
I kind of scratch my head and say, how do you not know him? And I forget how young some of them are. But then when you tell them his resume, they immediately go, "Oh wow." and then are interested to ask him questions, and um, his experience and his knowledge of people in the game as well is just incredible. So it's always fun when you have a conversation with him, because you come away learning new nuggets that you can take forward with you.
Agreed. Well, please, when you do speak with him, tell him I said hi.
I will.
And I had a number for him. I'm not sure if it's still the same. So let me know if it is the same, and I'll try to call him again, because he and I, a few years ago, we still kind of share the same passion and would like to see the WNBA return
Of
to
course, yeah,
Houston.
of
But
course, yeah,
whatever. We're here to talk about your team, your squad,
yep,
and first off, your non-conference schedule. Going to
yeah.
pull it up and take a look at it. And that's coach, that's a tough schedule
It
there.
is.
Your
Very-
thoughts on it? Go ahead.
It is tough. It's it's even tougher when you consider we have 5 true freshmen and 1 redshirt freshman in our program this year. So it's kind of a baptism of fire for them, right? They're going to get thrown in against some really tough teams, and I'm excited about it because, I think obviously it's always good when you can play Houston teams. So opening up with Houston area teams is great. But I think also we've got some teams in there that we can really learn a lot about ourselves. And that's what you hope you take from those bigger games, to prepare us for conference. And we have a pretty long gap after we play that last game on December 18th, before we start conference play on January 4th. But I think with as many young players as we have, we need that to really
Mhm.
regroup, figure out what we learned from the non-conference schedule, and prepare for what's going to be a pretty tough conference schedule too.
As a coach, and how can I word this? How is it difficult to keep your team, your players, keep their heads up, keep them confident in themselves if they go when they go against Power 5 teams and don't play well, or play well and still lose by a lot? How
I mean,
difficult?
I think when you're a basketball player, you want to compete against the best, right? And so as a coach, you want that. But as a player as well, a true basketball player who loves the game wants to be competing against the best. And there's always something you can take. I mean, when we played at LSU last year, um, we lost the game by a significant amount, but we took from it that we won the first quarter by a point. And
Okay.
so you take those small things, and, you know, why did we win that? Well, we shot the ball pretty well. We came off screens well. There were certain things that we did. And so I think you can always take something from those games. And that's what's about, really trying to get them to focus on what we can get from those games, and how they individually can be better, against those better players. It also shows up your deficiencies so much. And although going into conference play, we're not playing against, the level of Virginia Tech or KU, etc. But I think, if kids are struggling to get open on the wing, for example, which is something we've had to work on a lot these past few weeks, it really shows against those Power 5 teams. And so, you've got video from, live opponents to say, hey, we still need to work on this. And these are things that we're going to have to improve on going into conference play. So there's tangible things we can take from those games. And really, that's the important thing, staying focused on what we have to do for when we go into conference play.
Do you have a practice squad?
We do. They're actually starting with us next week. So, yeah, we do. We have 5 guys, which is great.
And how long have you utilized guys for practice?
Um, Probably over the last 5 years, we've had squads on and off. COVID kind of, obviously, that was a little block in the road for us, but we're back using guys again, and we had a squad last year. Pretty much the same guys this year. Um, I think it's great for us, particularly in conference play with those short turnarounds, being able to have them run opposition scouts for us and prepare us. We have 2 scrimmages coming up, and so, having them, prepare some of the looks that we're going to see in those scrimmages, so the girls can kind of be ready for that, is so vital for us. And I really appreciate them. I mean, these guys are not on scholarship. They're not, really getting anything from us, but they're really, really good kids, and I make a point of making sure they're appreciated every time they come, and our girls do too. So we're really thankful for having them around.
Is it difficult to put together a non-conference schedule?
Yeah, yeah.
Was
I
this
think
one more difficult than others?
no, I think we face the same challenges every year, and for me, it's about making sure that there are certain things that we can do to prepare our kids for conference. There's certain teams that I would like to play regularly, and I think that those teams help us prepare for conference play, and but it's definitely not easy. And I'll say this, like, we get bombarded because everybody wants to come to Houston and play. They have Texas players, and so I'm sure it's the same with some of the Dallas teams. It's always, we have a kid on our team from Texas. We want to play in
Mhm.
Texas. So it's really hard because, for me, I have to think about, okay, what constitutes a good home and home for travel purposes. And if we can match that up with a guarantee game, then that's great. But if it's, somewhere that's on the East Coast and we can't, match up with a guarantee game, then we're not able to do that. So there's a lot of things that go into our decision making for scheduling, for sure.
I want to pull up the schedule again. And out of these games, are any of these like Virginia Tech and A&M, Kansas, Texas Tech, Wichita State, are any of those home and home matchups?
No, they're all guarantee games.
So what is that? 5 guarantee games? Is that typical for your non-conference schedule? Have that
Uh,
many?
it's usually 3 to 4. So this is definitely a tougher year than normal. And, we did have a tournament that we were supposed to be playing in the week before Thanksgiving that didn't end up happening. And that kind of meant that we had to, you know, look at our schedule again and try and pick up a couple of extra games. And that's, the A&M game and the Virginia Tech game were late additions. So,
Yeah, you picked up 2 tough opponents
yeah,
for
yeah,
late additions.
yeah, exactly.
How will the conference look this year? HCU is in the Southland. So how is it gonna be competitive as usual?
I think so. Yeah. We actually have our media days tomorrow and Tuesday over in Louisiana. And, some of the best players in the league will be there. And I think on the women's side, it's going to be extremely competitive. There's a lot of teams that return, a good chunk of players, but there's also a few teams that have a lot of newcomers too that are unknown. And but we have some new coaches in the league that come in with a really good pedigree from the Division 2 level, and have been very successful at that level. So I think there's going to be some different looks this year, but for sure, as always in the Southland, a very competitive league.
Who are some players on your roster that fans should pay attention to this season?
Well, I think our fifth years, Dee Collins and Kennedy Wilson, will be should be two of our biggest contributors.
They're still there?
They're still here. I know,
That's
we
good
joke
for you.
about it's great for me. It's great, but Kennedy asked me a while ago, Coach, are you going to cry on senior day? And I was kind of joking with her, saying, no, I'll be throwing a party. You guys have been here forever. But it is sad. It's sad to think about them. This is their last, you know, year here, and both of them have been so loyal to us and to the program. And, I'm excited for them. They go out and having a great year. I think the biggest thing for me this year is the evolution of the group underneath them. So
Mhm.
Anya McGuire, who's a senior, and then Elizabeth Matadi and Amy Cotton. And I think, we've seen all three of those players this preseason really step up. I mean, I think there's always that way, right, where they're underclassmen and they're going up against, seniors and fifth years. And so, they kind of defer a little bit to those upperclassmen, but they have really stepped up this year. And um, I think Enya, we've looked at moving Enya off ball a little bit because she's such a great shooter.
Mhm.
And I think, we've put some things in where I think she'll get really good catch and shoot opportunities. So that could help her offense even more. And then for me, Liz is looking just fantastic at the moment. I mean, she runs the floor so well. Um, at 6'4", she's a good sized body, and she's really demanding the ball in the paint more than she ever has, and that's what we need. So she's been really solid in this preseason. And Amy, unfortunately, is out with a concussion right now, but she's looked the best she's been, since arriving here as a freshman. So I think those three are going to be big for us going forward. But we also have a transfer, a 6'5" transfer, who came to us from Williston College up in North Dakota. She's actually from Australia, and she and Liz have been having some battles in the paint regularly in practice, and it's nice because they both really demand the ball in the paint. And so it's our offense has changed a little bit this year because of that. We're trying to keep those two in the paint a little bit more, but there's been some good battles in practice, and so I think Yaz will be a good contributor for us because of her ability to run the floor and block shots and demand the ball in the paint. So yeah, I think there's going to be some new faces contributing that haven't been seen before, which is good.
Is Enya the last McGuire sister?
No, she's not. And I was about to start talking about the youngest and the last one.
Okay.
Erin McGuire is the youngest of the three. She redshirted last year. She was dealing with a couple of injuries, but is healthy again. And Erin is a true point guard. She really sees the floor well, makes great decisions with the ball in her hands, coming off of ball screens. And this year, what I've seen from her, which I love, is her ability to create her own offense. And she's done a really good job consistently daily in practice with that in at all three levels. And she just looks so much stronger and more confident this year. So that's great having her in the rotation along with Kennedy and Enya, but having Erin as well is, just great going forward. She's a great leader, very vocal, and someone that I think will be a huge contributor for us going forward.
How many international players on this year's roster?
Oh, you put me on the spot a lot. um, so we actually have two international freshmen who are from Sweden, and they're our first Swedish players. Tove and Mikola both, I think, have a chance to play good minutes. They're very different. Tove is, more of a shooter, but high IQ. Really sees the floor well. Her passing ability against zones has really stood out to me. So, I can see her being pretty versatile, playing a couple of positions. And then Mikola is just an athlete, just a really good athlete, can get to the rim. Very aggressive defensively, sometimes a little too much, where I have to give her that look to get her hands off. But she's a very intense athlete, and she rebounds the ball really well from the guard spot. So I sense that those two will be able to contribute. They're very mature, and I think that's the thing I'll say about our freshman class, Kris. This is the most mature freshman class I've had since I've been at HCU.
That's good.
5 freshmen, true freshmen coming in, and extremely mature in every way, not just on the court, off the court, socially, just a really, really good group that all have a chance to contribute. So obviously with Tove and Mikola as international freshman, we also have Yasmin as a sophomore transfer, and then Joe Ollie, who's returning to us as a sophomore from Luxembourg, who I think will also be potential starter for us this year. And then 2 McGuires, so, and Amy. So actually seven of our 14 are international.
How did you learn about them?
All the kids, or
Your international players. Did you got connections, friends? You saw them play somewhere? Someone sent you, what is it now? I don't know, video, tape, a clip? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, on this group, the McGuires obviously started with the older sister Anna, and that was through a connection of mine. And then, obviously I saw the 2 younger ones, and I mean, I could speak for an hour about that family, but just incredible culture players and incredible program kids, and I joke, but I wish they would, pop out a couple other McGuires, but they're done with that, they tell me. So but just really, really good kids, and they've been great for our program, no doubt. But everybody else, yes, a couple were through people I knew, and then others were, film that we were sent, and you know the level. Well, I know the level that they're playing against over there, so it's kind of easy to judge the transition over here, and how they'll be able to play, what level of Division One they are. So yeah, I think we've been pretty lucky with the international players we've had, because the majority have been pretty big contributors for us.
Did Zoom make it easier for you to recruit international players, or more difficult because of the difference in time?
I don't think it really changed, because I usually WhatsApp all of our international
Okay.
players, and you can video call on that. So I think, that's something that I've always done, and back in the day when I
I
first
forgot
came
you
here.
you were more tech savvy than me, so I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I wouldn't say that, but back in the day it was Skype, when I first
Mhm.
moved over here, and that's how I did my interview, actually, to come over here in the first place. But yeah, I think the time difference is tough. I'm recruiting a young lady from Australia right now in the 25 class, and trying to get her on the phone is tough with her schedule, and the time difference in her schedule is, it isn't easy. So texting in between times is kind of a stopgap, but it's definitely not easy with the time difference when you're talking about 16 or 15 and a half hours difference.
How would you define the HCU culture for women's basketball, Coach Finnie?
I think, without doubt, family. I think the closeness of this group and every group I've had is about, knowing that we all trust each other, and knowing that we have each other's backs, that we'll do anything for each other. And um, I say that because I was getting stick here earlier, because one of our girls texted me. She was at the pharmacy trying to pick up meds that weren't there for her, and she's like, "What do I do?" And they're saying, like, she's an adult, let her figure it out. But as a coach, you want to make sure that they have everything they need, and so
Mhm.
I always answer them when I see something from them, and I want them to know that we do have their back, whatever the situation is. And my staff is very much the same way, and I'm really lucky with the staff that I have, that they feel the same way about that culture of family. And um, I never doubt that they put the players first every day. And so that's been so important for me, whoever we have on our staff, that we put our players first every day.
Have you changed, evolved as a head coach? And if so, how?
Yes. I actually talked with one of my former assistant coaches from my national team back home, and she told me I've gone soft since
Oh,
I coached there. Yeah. I think you have to change. You have to evolve as a head coach, and um, it's none of us are perfect. We have our own strengths and weaknesses, and um, things around us change, and we have to be able to adapt when those things change. And I think no more so than when we went through COVID, right? Like, all of us were adapting every day with things that we'd never been hit with before. And so I very much was an A-type coach who needed to be super organized, and I had my practice plans done, and couldn't deviate from that. That was it. That was the plan, and we were going to execute that plan. And you go through COVID, and that doesn't happen. And some games you have 7 kids available because of COVID, and you learn you have to be more adaptable. So I think I've definitely changed in that way, where I've been able to react to things differently, um, and maybe not being as rigid in my planning. Um, Obviously, still have my plan in place, but be able to adapt when it changes. Whereas previously, I didn't want any part of that. So I think that's been a big, change in my coaching style, for sure.
this year's roster has 14 players. You said one is dealing with a concussion. How's everybody else doing health wise?
Right now, we're not great, but it's all small things. And I actually said to our trainer yesterday, I'm glad it's all happening now. because you get it out of the way with as many kids out with different things and throat infections and flu and really bad allergies, all those kind of things, and that tends to happen at this time of year. So there's nothing really serious that should stop anyone playing. We don't have any season-ending injuries or anything, so um, I think we just got to get back on court this week. This last week has been pretty tough for us because we've had so many people out. But I think this week we should have some people back and, start hitting practicing full on again. And we have our practice guys starting this week, and that's going to help hugely. Again, I feel like if what happened last week with as many people sick and hurt had happened pre-COVID, I'd really been thrown a fit. But, now it's, okay, we just got to adjust and we have to change our plan. And every morning it was something different. Our trainer would walk in my office last week and I was like, okay, who's out now? But again, like nothing serious. So it's just trying to get through this rough patch, and we'll get everybody back healthy, hopefully here in the next week or so.
Are you going to media day?
Yes, I am. Mm-hmm.
You bring any players?
I'm bringing Dee Collins with me. Yeah.
She deserves that. That's good.
Yeah. I think Dee has a chance to have a really great year. I think she has a different mindset this year. Her consistency in practice has been, really special. And she's very dominant every day in practice, and that's exactly what you want from your leading scorer. I don't have to get on her about looking to score, which I've had to do previously. And, I think she's taken on more of a leadership role. She's not the most vocal person naturally, but she has definitely, done a great job with the freshmen, integrating them into what we expect daily. And the example that she sets every day has really rubbed off. But, like I say, this is a mature freshman group, and they've done a tremendous job picking up everything that we're trying to teach. But Dee has been a leader in that for sure.
Are you a sports fan? American sports?
Some, yes.
And what are they? Because we've talked a whole bunch of times over the years, and I've never asked you that. What sports do you like? American sports.
I like watching baseball.
Are you an Astros fan?
Of course.
Okay, see, that's why I'm going to wrap it up. That's why I asked.
Right.
I wanted to know.
I feel like we got like 35 minutes or something. Yeah.
Right. Right.
I obviously love soccer because I grew up watching soccer back in Scotland.
But see, you said soccer.
Yeah.
So you really are American.
Well, I am, because I'm their citizen as well, Kris. So
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Technically, yeah.
And I did congratulate you on that, didn't I?
You did.
Did I do that? Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I do, and actually, I'm really starting to get into football. Our football team, if any of them see this, will laugh, because I went to talk with them about a month ago. Coach asked me to go and just visit with them about, championship culture and what it takes to win at HCU, and how we did it winning the conference, 2 years ago. And so it was interesting, but I did admit to them that I don't know all the rules of football, so that someone in that room by the end of this year needs to make sure that I know the rules properly. And I've really enjoyed watching them this year. They had a tough game yesterday, but they're a really great bunch of guys. And, I see the difference in collectively as a group when they're practicing, but also individually when they're walking around campus. I see the difference in those guys. And I think the biggest thing that's attributed to is the way that the coaches are pouring into them. The positivity they're getting from the coaching staff this year is tremendous. So I think there's going to be big shift in that program here pretty soon. It doesn't happen overnight. And it's a tough job. I think Coach Shealy did a great job building that program.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach Harris is now taking it another step. And I think they're going to have some success here in the next couple of years for sure, because that staff works really hard, and you can see the difference they're making in those young men's lives.
So, side note here, Miss Wanda and Tony, y'all heard that about coaching and the impact and positivity and all everything Coach Finnie said there. I'm not going to deviate from her time here to discuss a certain coach in football, but y'all know where I'm going with that. Anyhow, yeah, she has kind of probably knows who I'm talking about too, without naming any names. He coaches my alma mater, and I'll just leave it at that. Okay. So,
I,
hey, if
Kris,
they
you
comment
know
on
that.
it, if they comment, see, Coach, Miss Wanda said she literally wrote it down. Your
Well,
words. See,
I live with a cougar, remember, and
I
so
yes, I know.
and so there's been a lot of discussions in our household recently as well about what you're talking about. I won't say it. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I'm always the person in our house that will defend coaches. So, um,
and
and
I
I won't.
respect that.
I will never criticize another coach because you don't know what's going on in their program. You really don't. The daily issues that are going on. So, you know, I don't want to say anything bad about any other coach, regardless of which sport it is, because I know from our program there's a lot of things that go on that people don't know about. So,
Oh, I respect that about you, and at some point I'll drag that of you off air, so it's okay. No worries there whatsoever. Since you are an Astros fan,
yes.
you have any predictions on this series, or just want to go on tonight's game?
Well, okay. I think we'll win again tonight.
Okay.
Um, but I would like to see the Astros and Rangers in the next round. I think that would be a good matchup and could make some for some good Houston Dallas banter that I can have with our players. So,
That it's always good when Houston and Dallas square off in anything, and of course,
hmm
it's much better when Houston wins those
absolutely.
matchups.
Uh huh.
So, okay, you got the Astros winning tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
hmm
Will it be a sweep? Because it's best of 5 in this round, so it'll be a sweep.
I think they might drop one game. So
Okay.
yeah.
Miss Wanda is a huge Houston sports teams fan, so let's see if she agrees with your prediction on tonight. Tony M as well. I think these two folks are loyal supporters of the Houston Roundball Review, so very appreciative every time they take time
Well,
to spend time here
I
on the
got to get
shows.
I got to get this into them because they might appreciate this. Then that I'm really excited about the Rockets this year. I really am. We
How excited are you?
Well, we're taking our team uh, a week on Friday to the Heat game, the preseason
Okay.
game. I think that's
Hmm.
maybe the last ones.
Right.
And then I'm going to. I think my first real game will be the day after Thanksgiving, um, because we're actually off that day. So I'm excited that I don't get to go that often, obviously during our season
Hmm.
for obvious reasons. But I have really enjoyed watching some of these young guys, and um, I think that with the additions that they have, I I think that this year could be a little bit different. I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
Does your hope extend to play in playoffs?
I think so. I think so. hmm
Oh,
hmm
Tony M. See that?
hmm Yeah.
My Rocket fans they saw Coach Finney and didn't see Rockets part of in the subject of this show. They tuned out, but
Ah,
they'll love to hear that Coach Finney's got the Rockets going to the play in or playoff. Which is it? 7, 8, 9, 10 seed. Which of those four
I think
spots?
I think they'll make it straight in. I don't think they'll have to do a play-in this year.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I think you know Fred VanVleet, I'm a big fan of him. I
Hmm.
think as a leader, as a professional, um, I think his IQ and the way that he works can really help some of these young guys settle. But I'm looking for a big year from Sengun. I'm a big fan. So I'm hoping that he'll have a better year, more consistent year this year. So thanks,
There you
Tony.
go.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So I'm kind of standing alone because I don't have them going to the play-in nor playoff. I got to win like 36 games,
Oh,
but that's an improvement from last year. But
yeah,
for fans of the show, that's not enough, Kris. You're wrong. You're wrong. Yeah, we'll see. But it's okay. But you got fans right there. So Coach Donna Finnie's got the Rockets going to playoffs.
I do. hmm
Okay.
hmm
All right, Coach. On that happy note, I'm gonna let you go prepare for the Astros game 2,
Yeah,
because it starts in 30 minutes.
it
So I don't know
does.
if you have to do any, pre-game rituals or anything like that to, get your good luck charms or however you want to do it to watch the game. But
No,
you go ahead and do that. So thank you very much. Y'all have a safe trip tomorrow,
thank you. Thank
and
you.
we'll keep in touch as always. And she's one of the good ones. So Tony is correct. She is one of the good ones too.
Thank
She talks to me, and sometimes even when she was with me, she helped when my mom was going through her health issues, and when mom passed away. So Coach Finney, she is a good person, and I commend you and salute you for everything you do for me. So thank you very
you.
much.
Thank you, Kris. Back at you.
You take
Thank
care and enjoy your Astros.
you. You too. Go Stros.
All right, bye bye.
Bye.
These final moments of this, because I know Tony's going to watch the Astros as well. I'm going to play this clip from earlier today at the Rockets liftoff party. Look at the youngsters dancing. Look at, and I mean youngsters as in the rookies, Matthew Meyer, Cam Whitmore. And if you want to call whatever Amin Thompson's doing besides standing on the floor, on the court, just kind of moving, he looks like how I would dance in public, which is not much at all. Take a look at this.
Hey, okay, cool, little two-step, okay. Oh, okay, uh-oh, come on. Work it out, hey, work it out, okay. I see you. Here we go, what we got? You did not do the two-step, twin. Uh-oh, we ready, Ooh, footwork.
Color don't run from this pipe. Gotta go crazy, let it shake on from move. Or you gotta run it up, not the one who make the rules. Let me see you do it. Right, do it.
Let's go, work out, Jay-Z, let's go. Hey. Oh, yeah. You gotta give him a little bit. Blue face, let's go.
Blue face, baby. Two, one of me, but it's enough. Look for my left, right.
Show him how to do it, Tom.
Buzz in the hot dog, every
Not a rookie, but I think we got hopefully the player that can really dance out. Dillon Brooks, come on out here, show these young bucks what they're supposed to do. Hey, he's not a rookie, but he's a dancer on the team. Let's play them. Rockets fans, to your mark, let's go!
Hurricane is soaking. Get up like an ocean.
I just wanted y'all to see that. Y'all have a good night. That was fun. We enjoyed it. A lot of fun. A good turnout early today at the Rockets liftoff party. Dillon Brooks is the best dancer on the squad, apparently. Amin Thompson, I guess he's too shy to dance, or maybe he just can't. Or he just dances with the ball in his hands during the ball games. Maybe that's it as well. Everyone, enjoy the Astros game 2 tonight. Thank you for watching, Tony, Miss Wanda, everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook. This edition, episode 111 of the Houston Roundball Review presents Folks Talking Sports. Notice Miss Wanda didn't chime in about the dance moves. Maybe she's just like, these youngsters don't have anything at all for me. So I don't know. But hopefully, Tony, hopefully so. Trade the rhythm gene for the point guard gene. Hopefully so. Coach Donna Finnie, HCU, thank you very much for joining the show this evening. She and Dee Collins will be in the Southland Conference media day, Monday, Tuesday. I will be in Dallas for the American Athletic Conference media day on Monday. So I got to get me some sleep. So y'all wish me safe travels Monday. I'll be back Tuesday in time for the Rockets preseason home opener against the Indiana Pacers. And hopefully Jarris Walker, Houston Cougar, will get some minutes for the Pacers in that game. Clips posted from today's Liftoff are on YouTube at Houston Roundball Review. Everywhere, also TikTok and Instagram, some clips as well. Spread the word about the channel. Thank you for those who are new to the channel, new to this show. More content coming throughout this season on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. In case you don't know, since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review. Local name, global perspective. Y'all take care. Tony M., Wanda, y'all take care. Be safe. Peace.